Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJ Tripp, and welcome to the game according to me. We're gonna do week 8 in college football and week 7 in professional football. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the start of the NBA season. My preview show of the NBA season is up, so you can go back and take a look at that. But really quick, let me talk about why there hasn't been a podcast in a long time. I was working. I had a job, and and the job I was doing just took too much time, from me because I had a 2.5 hour commute to work, and I had a 2.5 hour commute, if lucky, from work. So I just, just didn't have the time. When I came home, I wanted to sit around and watch TV. I didn't have the time to, do a podcast or anything like that. So, and I was thinking maybe about the weekend, but then on the weekends, I just wanted to sit around and have fun and do my own thing. So the podcast was gone for a few weeks, but right now it's back. But I still got some things out there in the ether when it comes to jobs, and hopefully those will do is those will come around to the point to where I can still do podcasts and videos for my YouTube channel and everything like that. And still have time for work. So that's what I'm hoping is happening here. So I got a job interview tomorrow. Wish me luck, everybody. But you're not here for that. You're here to just to listen to some football and some sports. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that, right? Let's start with college football and what happened on Saturday. The biggest thing that happened Saturday was Wisconsin going into Champaign and losing to the Illinois Fighting Illini, the biggest win of Lovie Smith's tenure in Illinois. Um, what a shock! They just didn't have it with them, I guess. So Wisconsin, any given Sunday they say. They also say any given Saturday as well. Um, so yeah, that was the biggest thing that happened. Come Saturday, there were some other ones. Auburn beat Arkansas. Northwestern, that actually happened on Friday, just destroyed Northwestern. Ohio State just destroyed Northwestern 52-3. I have, people here in Chicago just can't believe this is going to be a down year for Fitz and the Northwestern Wildcats. But I think they'll be back next year. Next year, they'll be back and better. Oklahoma, they did their thing. So did Clemson. So did Alabama. Beat up on Tennessee. But yeah, so like the biggest thing was the fact that Wisconsin got defeated by Illinois. Um, Michigan and Penn State were the biggest game of the weekend, and that came down to a final catch. And boy, the guy who dropped the ball from Michigan, he was so upset. He's on the sidelines crying. You couldn't help but feel for the poor kid. Um, but Michigan made a good comeback of it because Penn State was up kind of big on them. But it came down to it. Penn State won. Now Michigan goes and has two losses, not only two losses, but two Big Ten losses, and now they will have to face the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, I believe, this coming weekend. Um, let's see. As we go look and we look at some of the games that are happening this weekend. We got Wisconsin going to Ohio State. That was supposed to be a big game, but it doesn't seem to be so big right now because of what happened with Illinois. Although we still could see Wisconsin upset Ohio State. If that happens, who? Auburn, number 9, will take on LSU, number 2. That seems to be a big thing happening right now. We've got yes, we do. We have Notre Dame versus Michigan, and this is going to be big for Notre Dame. Notre Dame ranked 8, Michigan ranked 19. So they need to go in to Ann Arbor and they need to beat up on Michigan. Michigan's defense is still a fantastic defense, but they have the talent to do it. If they want to try to make it into and sneak into the college football playoff again with one loss, they're going to have to beat Michigan here. After that, they'll have a run of teams to run over, and they should. But this is going to be the team they need to beat. Otherwise, it's going to. Now, I predicted they would lose 3 games, but as a Notre Dame fan, I am wanting Notre Dame to go ahead and obviously make the college football playoff, and this is how they got to do it. They have to beat Michigan, and Georgia's probably going to have to win out and beat one of the teams in the championship game. Although they beat Alabama, Alabama's just probably going to be there because they're going to say Alabama's better than Notre Dame. So, but yeah, that seems to be I think the 2 biggest games, Notre Dame and Michigan. That should be the ABC game. It's coming on at 6:30 Chicago time, and then of course at 2:30, that's probably this is a CBS game, the SEC game of the week. Auburn, number 9 Auburn at 2 LSU. So those are the 2 games we should be looking for this weekend. Penn State, number 6 at Michigan State for the Land Grant Trophy. That should be interesting, but I think Michigan State is kind of down this year as well. So I think that should be a pretty big that should be a pretty easy test for Penn State. But you never know when it comes to these Big Ten teams. So yeah, I think that's it for like college football. It's gonna be a fantastic Saturday as usual. I can't wait to watch it. So let's go ahead and let's get the party started, man. I cannot wait. A couple more days of college football happening. It's gonna be fantastic. Oh, by the way, I do want to say this real quick. Shout out to SMU. They are running the table right now, and I think SMU deserve. The Big 12 has 10 teams, and the Big 12 should add 2 more teams, and I don't see why they shouldn't add the 2 teams that are playing tomorrow night, SMU and Houston, and then just add it and get 12 teams again, and then make another, and then make another division. So I think that's what they should do. I've always said that. Once Colorado and Nebraska left, they needed to um do all of those things. They did. They really needed to add 2 more teams, and they added TCU, which was the right thing to do, and they added West Virginia, but they should have added SMU and Houston as well. That's just my thought. So now we go to the NFL, and the biggest story coming out of the NFL week was last Thursday. We had an unfortunate injury to the MVP, Patrick Mahomes. He dislocated his kneecap. People thought that maybe it was a lot worse. There was no ligament damage, thank God. But dislocated kneecap. The reports are it's probably going to be, you know, maybe 3 weeks, 3 to 6 weeks, but more they're looking towards the 3 weeks. So, but I would not rush him. I would not rush him back. Um, the AFC West does not look to be as formidable as we once thought. We thought the Chargers were going to be good and maybe even great, but they haven't turned out to be. The Denver Broncos, same thing. They're not turned out to be. And Oakland they seem to be the second best team, but even Oakland is not, on Casey's level. So they can take their time and get Patrick Mahomes back, in a healthy state of frame, it's a healthy state of frame, in a healthy state of mind. So I think I think that's more important than trying to rush him back. So I would just take the time and do what you need to do to get Patrick Mahomes healthy. I would not rush that guy back at all. Um, the Rams went into Atlanta and destroyed the Falcons, 37-10. And there's been talk about Dan Quinn not surviving the season, and this is amazing. Just a few short years ago, not only were they in the Super Bowl, they had a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl over the New England Patriots, and now here they are. They're 1-5, 1-6, and they're talking about firing their head coach in the middle of the season. It's incredible to see what's happening with the Atlanta Falcons, and it's unfortunate. I don't. They've already traded Mohamed Sanu, to New England, and I think they might be even trading some more. I don't know what else they're gonna do, but it was some fantastic stuff. Um, One of the unbeaten teams is the 49ers, a surprise team. We thought they might be better with a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo. We didn't expect them to be undefeated. Their defense is fantastic. Their running game is pretty awesome as well, and Jimmy Garoppolo is doing just enough to get by in the passing game. They beat the Redskins 9-0 in the Water Bowl. I guess you call it a Mud Bowl of 2019. But the Redskins have problems of their own. Um, but this is a surprise team, and I think this could be a very interesting turn as we move down the rest of the season to see what will really happen with the 49ers. Um, we'll see if they are really legit when it comes down to it. Um, So ever since the Bears game with the Vikings, they couldn't do anything on offense, and Adam Thielen came out and criticized Kirk Cousins, and Stephon Diggs was thinking about not coming to practice and everything like that. They've been on a roll, and Kirk Cousins has been on the roll. Here's my thing with Kirk Cousins. He is not a bad quarterback. I think people think he's a bad quarterback. He isn't. He's not a bad quarterback. He may not be a winning quarterback. I will admit that. May not be a winning quarterback. He may, but and is that on him? Is that on the team? I think it's probably a little bit more on him because for as good as he is, his team should win more. And his team should be more prolific when it comes to making the playoffs and going further in playoffs. But it just doesn't happen. So, but they went into Detroit and they put up 42 points on the Detroit Lions. It's a very good team. Even though they're 2-3-1, very good team, Detroit. They're a lot better than they were last season. And again, Kirk Cousins had 4 touchdowns and was just amazing. So again, Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback at all. And the Vikings seem to be getting out on the road. So we could see something here from the Vikings that could really be fantastical, as the word is, from the Minnesota Vikings coming down the second half of the season. Um, and I talked about the Chargers. So how about the way the Chargers lost? So 23-20. Philip Rivers hits Austin Eckler. They think they score a touchdown. They review it. He's down at the 1. Come back, get the ball to Melvin Gordon. They think he scores. Review it again. He's down at the 1. Next play, again, run play, but Melvin Gordon fumbles, and the Titans recover, and that's how they lose. My heaven. It is just fantastic. And I love what Anthony Lynn said. They needed 1 yard, and they couldn't get it. They can't blame anybody. They can't blame the Titans. They can't blame the referees or anything. They only blame themselves because if you can't get 1 yard, whether it's a goal line on the goal line or on a 4th and 1 in the middle of the field, you deserve to lose. You deserve to lose. So I like what Anthony Lynn said. He's the coach of the Chargers. How about the Ravens going into Seattle and beating Russell Wilson and the Seahawks? Lamar Jackson is incredible. He's on pace to be the first quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards and rush for 1,000. So he is, you know, it's really very hard to see because he can't do this forever. He's gonna have to stand in the pocket and make plays from the pocket. And he can still run around and do everything he needs to do, but he's gonna have to at some point stand in that pocket and make plays from there. Now, if he doesn't do that and he's able to for the rest of his career throw for 4,000 yards and run for 1,000, then God bless him. But I don't think that's going to stay the thing. He can maybe do it now. He maybe even do it next year. But at some point down the line, it's going to come back and haunt him and haunt the Ravens. So, The Cowboys destroyed the Eagles on Sunday Night Football, 37-10, after Doug Peterson almost guaranteed a victory. They were going to go in and beat the Cowboys. That didn't happen. The Patriots smoked the Jets on Monday Night Football, 33-0, and poor Sam Darnold get caught on the sideline saying that he was seeing ghosts, and everybody's making fun of that. It's not good there. But I think a big disappointment, and what a lot of people are talking about, especially here in Chicago, but actually it's been pretty frequent that people have been talking about it in all over in the mainstream as well in the entire country. The Chicago Bears, coming off a bye, had a horrific performance against the New Orleans Saints. Without Drew Brees, without Alvin Kamara, without Jared Cook, they allowed the Saints to score 36 points and beat them. They had a 26-point lead at one point against the Chicago Bears. They blocked the punt. They had a punt return for a touchdown. They got called back, but still, they had blocked one punt and had one punt tipped. I don't know if that's called a block punt or not as well. And Mr. Trubisky looked so bad. He really did. The Bears were just awful. It was just, oh man. And people are now saying that what Ryan Pace did for trading up to draft Mitchell Trubisky might have been an absolutely foolish move. An absolutely foolish move. Especially when you see Deshaun Watson and what he is, and then what you know Patrick Mahomes and what he's become as well. It is just wow. The people in Chicago are just they can't just believe it. And Matt Nagy's taking a lot of criticism as well. He ran it 7 times, and what it seemed like he did was that he said the running game wasn't happening, so he just went away from it. It's not happening. He just went away from it. So, and on one hand, I agree with that because listen, you shouldn't pound your head into a wall. If something's not working, then you don't go from it. But I think there were several things here. One, Mitch Trubisky was coming off of a shoulder injury, so maybe you shouldn't want him to pass the ball so much. And two, still, I mean, you still could run the ball. I think some of the things that he made it seem like that, they were getting chunks of yard in the passing game when actually they wasn't. They wasn't getting big time yards. They really was. It was 1 yard here and one. It was they had 80 total yards of offense out in the first half. So they wasn't. He really wasn't doing a lot. So even though he made it seem like that they was. So I think that kind of set off people as well. So who knows what's going to happen? They've got the Chargers coming in. They should beat the Chargers at home, but you never know when it comes to this league. You really, really never know what's going to happen. So um, yeah, that's it for the football. We'll talk a little bit of basketball. We had 2 games last night, and opening night, the Toronto Raptors. They had a first. They on the opening night raised the banner, and they had a pretty good game against New Orleans Pelicans without Zion Williamson. Went to overtime. They absolutely won. Pascal Siakam, Fred Van Fleet, they led the Toronto Raptors to victory in there. And then we had the Lake Show versus the Clip Show, and the Clip Show actually won. Um, so I think that was what was happening with was there with the basketball. So we get more basketball tonight, full slate of games tonight. So some good things going on with the NBA. Glad to have the NBA season back once again. Like I said earlier, my NBA podcast is up. My preview and predictions podcast. So you can go and listen to that as well after you finish listening to this. Um, and let's also talk about really quick the World Series. The World Game One of the World Series was last night. We had the Washington Nationals beat the Houston Astros in Game One of the World Series. So that's going to be something special. That's something interesting. Now Washington takes home field advantage. They have 3 games at home: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we'll see, but it could end in a sweep. You never know. It's going to be Washington's pitching versus Houston Astros, and Houston Astros got good pitching too. They've got better hitting. So it all depends on what goes down with this, but we'll see. I think this is going to be a very interesting series. Should be some good pitching and some really good hitting as well. So this should be a fun series for everybody. So yeah. Absolutely, and I should also say as well, because this is about wrestling, um, as well. We've got now tonight. This is Wednesday, obviously. Tonight we've got NXT versus AEW. I will be watching that. Also, since I am back to now trying to do videos and do podcasts, um, I will have up my That's a Shoot That's a Shoot video coming up this weekend. Another That's a Shoot. We were talk. I'm gonna do put over and bury. Where I'm gonna put over. I'm gonna put over things and I'm gonna bury some things. I don't know if I'm gonna do a main topic. I think I'm just gonna put over what I saw this week in wrestling. And I'm gonna put over when I'm gonna bury what I saw this week in wrestling. So, and I think there may not be a main topic. I do have a topic to talk about, and I think I would. I think I may go into that. But yeah, so make sure you go over to my YouTube channel, AJ Trip. Link will be down in the description box below, and click on that, sign up, subscribe for it, hit the notification bell so that you know when my videos up, and that you know when I also go live. Because if now hopefully I am working. Like I said, I have a job interview tomorrow. But if I'm not live, if I'm not working, I will be reacting to the I will be having a live rapid reaction to Crown Jewel next Thursday, the 31st. So when I go live, you will be able to catch it, the rapid reaction. If I am working, I'm going to just put up a That's a Shoot review of it later in maybe that weekend. So yeah, I'm getting some notifications. Hopefully these are good notifications. All right, y'all. That's gonna be it for this episode of podcast. Again, I'm gonna try to do this every week. If I am working, I'm gonna be. I think I'm gonna be able to do this, especially if I get this job. This job is gonna. I'm gonna. I'll be able to go to work and I'll be able to have a 45, 50-minute commute to and from work. Meaning that when I get home, I'll be able to do a podcast and put it up for you guys. I'll be able to do videos for my YouTube channel. I'll be able to live stream on Twitch. Which, by the way, I will be live streaming tonight. So make sure that you are here. Make sure you go to Twitch. That link will be down in the description box below as well. So make sure you go and follow me on Twitch if you are a gamer. All right. That will be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. And once again, by the way, if you guys feel the need, if you guys like what you have heard and you want to support me, the link is down in the description box below as well. You can support me with 99 cents, with $4.99 or $9.99 in a subscription. You can just support me in any way that you want. I just want your support. I just thank you for wanting to support me. That's all I care about. So yeah, that's down in the description box down below as well. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJ Trip signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.